Happening, good people. Oh lordy lord, oh lord, oh lord, lordy lord. So Roy Jones Jr. came off on the deep end, talking about Floyd, and guess who decided to join in with the idiocy? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this guy, Showbiz the adult. You know, you there's one thing. It's one thing to be an entertainer. It's another thing to try to create a narrative, a story that's false, and to try to hype up a fighter. And Showbiz, bro, you picked the wrong battle to fight on the wrong hill, you know. And that's all I got to say about that. Let's get into it. So, Showbiz the adult was correct. Muhammad Ali was over the hill. He tried to put on Muhammad Ali Parkinson's disease, which he did have. He was starting to show signs of Parkinson, but it was in the early phases of Parkinson's. It's way down the road. Muhammad Ali, of course, suffers what we call punch drunk syndrome. Okay, um, and he was showing signs of it. As his talking was slurred. But even after he retired, many years after he retired, he still didn't manifest the real signs of the disease that he eventually had as a result of boxing. It's not really Parkinson's he had. He had the disease associated with boxing where you get punched too much. Anyways, Showbiz the adult said a couple things in trying to defend Muhammad Ali, trying to rationalize what Roy Jones Jr. was saying, which was a bunch of nonsense. And for those people who know boxing, know that Roy was talking a bunch of nonsense. He was just making up stuff and deciding to dirty Floyd's name by making up stuff because Floyd showed him getting knocked out. Okay. So Showbiz tries to jump on the Roy Jones Jr. bandwagon. And we are all Roy. Hey, let me just make this abundantly clear. Nothing I say here makes me less of a Roy Jones Jr. fan than I've always been. It's just I like people to tell the truth. Okay. I'm a huge Roy Jones Jr. fan. I will continue to be a Roy Jones Jr. fan. Roy was a spectacular fighter. He was a great fighter. And nobody's going to make me change my mind on that. Okay. I'm just saying, if you're going to talk about stuff, please do not make up stuff as you talk about it to make your argument seem persuasive. This is my only problem with these guys. They decide they want to reshape history. They want to rewrite history so I can make Floyd look bad and I can make Muhammad Ali look good and I can make Roy look good. Don't do that. When you need to check people, you check them. Media is not supposed to be kissing nobody's ass. Media is there to point out the truth and then keep it moving. That's all the media is for. Stop kissing people's ass. Showbiz the adult. You have your opinion, but I mean, come on, man, dude. Come on, you got a following. You supposed to be teaching them boxing. You cannot be teaching boxing and you don't mention the name Floyd Mayweather. It's just what it is. You can't teach boxing and don't mention the name Roy Jones Jr. You can't teach boxing or educate people on boxing and not talk about Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Sam Langford, etc., etc. Okay? But you got to give each boxer, you got to be honest. If you're not going to be honest out here and you're going to be dishonest and start creating all kinds of narratives, we might as well not talk about boxing at all or even watch it because you creating your own storyline for the thing, whether it's true or not. So he goes like this. This is what Mr. Showbiz the adult, I just watched the video, so that's why I'm reacting to it. Mr. Showbiz the adult said, good Lord. That's why I say, Lordy Lord. What is wrong with these guys? Anyway, he said this. He said, Muhammad Ali, he had, Parkinson's, as if he's in the advanced stage of Parkinson's, as if his reflexes and stuff can't, they're gone. right? Anyway, he says he has Parkinson's. He takes on a vicious, upcoming, raw, young talent, great Olympian in Leon Spinks, a guy that nobody wanted to face. Now that's bullshit right there. Sorry to sound so loud, but it is rubbish when he says that because Leon Spinks, I'm gonna show y'all something. Now, don't get me wrong, Leon Spinks was he did a terrific thing, and the guy that trained him was Georgie Benton, and I'm gonna come back to this in a minute. But there's a reason why I need to mention Leon Spinks wasn't what this guy is hyping him up to be. This is a very important point because I'm going to show you something. When I show you it, you're going to understand what I mean. And that's why I said this guy here, Mr. Showbiz the Adult, is misinforming the population and his followers about what Muhammad Ali did. In fact, let me get straight to it. So he said Leon Spinks was this great fighter that, undefeated. He only had 8 fights, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, undefeated at heavyweight. This great Olympian gold medalist prospect. And instead of running from Leon Spinks, Muhammad Ali embraced him and fought him with Parkinson's, right? And then after he fought him with Parkinson's, he went on he lost, but he came back and he beat him, which is incredible, to become a 3-time undisputed world champion. Okay. And then he went on to face Larry Holmes. Okay, let's stop there. Pause. Muhammad Ali was world champion in 1977, going into 1978. And here I have the heavyweight rankings for the heavyweight division by the Ring magazine in the 1970s. When Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks, it was in 1978. That same year, he rematched him and beat him. And then he fought Larry Holmes. Here's the problem with that whole story. Look at the rankings in 1977. Muhammad Ali is the lineal champion, the undisputed lineal champion. And then Ken Norton is the world champion there. Then Jimmy Young, then Larry Holmes, then Ron Lyle, then Dwayne Bobick, then Ernie Schaefer's, then Cali Noetz, then Alfredo Evangelista, and then Leon Spinks. In other words, all these fighters above Leon Spinks were ranked above him. Now, it's great that he was a top 10 heavyweight fighter, Leon Spinks, that is. But here's the thing. Did Leon Spinks beat anyone worth a damn to make us feel that he was capable of beating Muhammad Ali? Well, let's see. And get his shot ahead of all these guys to face Muhammad Ali. And just in case y'all say, oh, well, Muhammad Ali probably faced some of these guys. Okay. Let's see. And believe you me, I'm coming back to this because, again, what you need is a guy that like to tell the truth. He don't like to bullshit people. And I'm only here on this channel to set the record straight on certain things, okay? Muhammad Ali faced Leon Spinks, as you see, February 15th, 1978, September 1978. Here he's facing Leon Spinks, right? He just came off of facing Ernie Schaefer the year before, Alfredo Evangelista. The year before that, he had his third fight with Ken Norton, in which it's disputed. It was a split decision fight. Well, they don't say the thing here. Let me see if I can see it in the event. They're not showing it still. They don't show it. But it was a split decision win he had over Ken Norton. It was a very close fight. And people argue Ken Norton beat him, right? Whatever. Ken Norton did get a win over him. Whatever. All right. In April of 1976, he faced Jimmy Young. Okay? I'm going to show you guys something. I want to show you guys something. Because, see, I got to show you guys something. Right. So, he had faced Ken Norton. He could have rematched Ken Norton a 4th time. Okay, because it was a close fight. He had fought Jimmy Young. He had beaten Jimmy Young. He had not faced Larry Holmes. Why are you going to face a guy who is way lower in the rankings than Larry Holmes? Let me look at Larry Holmes. What did Larry Holmes do before he faced Muhammad Ali? This is important. Okay, here it is. Larry Holmes Okay. Larry Holmes, before he faced Muhammad Ali, he'd faced Bobik, who was a top 10 fighter, and he'd faced, and that's about it. Okay. He hadn't really faced anybody I see of note. The only guy was Bobik. This guy here, Rodney Bobik. Rodney Bobik, if I'm not mistaken, let's see here. Dwayne Bobik. No, not Rodney Bobik. Dwayne Bobik was the other guy. So he had faced no top 10 fighter. Okay, fine. But he had way more fights than Leon Spinks. Okay, he had way more fights than Leon Spinks. He was ranked higher than Leon Spinks in 1977. Why is it that Muhammad Ali did not face Larry Holmes instead of Leon Spinks? Well, I'm going to tell you why. It's because Larry Holmes was a sparring partner of Muhammad Ali, as also was Jimmy Young. And Muhammad Ali faced Jimmy Young, right? And Jimmy Young went the whole distance with Muhammad Ali. It was a good boxing match and stuff, but they gave Muhammad Ali the decision. The point anyway is, when Muhammad Ali did face Larry Holmes stopped him. The corner had to throw in the towel. Muhammad Ali couldn't even come out to fight. My point being, Leon Spinks, in Muhammad Ali's mind, was easier work than Larry Holmes. That make any sense to anybody? So Leon Spinks, who is this kid, this fresh kid? By the way, let me show you who Leon Spinks fought. Came out to the Olympics. Of course, they're fast tracking him, right? He had the tenacity of a Sean Porter. It was all up in your face. Okay, he beat nobody of note before Muhammad Ali. Nobody of note. He fought, guys, journeymen at first, and guys with losing records, and then he drew a fight with a guy called Scott Ledoux, and Scott Ledoux. All this is in 1977, of course, and Scott Ledoux, he never rematched that guy, and then he fought Alfredo Rigetti, who was an undefeated fighter, and he beat him, and then he fought Muhammad Ali. Now, why is it? I'm going to ask again. I'm going to ask all y'all. Why is it that Leon Spinks gets to fight Muhammad Ali before Larry Holmes? Why? Why? Now, seriously, why? No. Why? No, come again. Why? Right? This is what you got to ask yourself a question. Did Muhammad Ali face Ron Lyle, number 4? Did he? Let's see. I'm not going even okay. Oh man. Hold on a second, people. Hold on a second. Ron Lyle. was a heavy hitter. He was a slugger. We know Run Line from fighting. Run Line was known for fighting. Uh, and he fought until 1995. He fought George Foreman. That's what he's famous for. There's the George Foreman fight. Yep, Run Line fought Muhammad Ali in 1975 and stopped him. Fought Jimmy Young in 1975 as well. So Run Line did face Muhammad Ali. But I'm going to tell you this, though. I don't think Ali wanted to run it back with none of them guys, though. We know Ali just came off of fighting Ernie Schaefer's. I do not know who Dwayne Bobick is. I know he fought Alfredo Evangelista. Right? So Ali had fought most of the guys. He just hadn't fought Larry Holmes. So the question is, did Muhammad Ali, why didn't he face Larry Holmes? Right? Why did he face Leon Spinks over Larry Holmes? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. He didn't fight Larry Holmes because he thought Leon Spinks was going to be easier work because of an inexperience. The reason why Muhammad Ali, y'all talking about Parkinson's and all this stuff, all that is irrelevant because that didn't affect Muhammad Ali in the moment. You know what affected Muhammad Ali in the moment? His legs. He ain't got no legs no more. That's why he had to be doing rope-a-doping and bobbing in and out, bobbing and weaving in and out against Leon Spinks. If Ali had his legs, it wouldn't be no fight. He'd have done dusted Spinks. Yeah, okay, Holmes would have beaten him. Norton probably would have beaten him still because his fundamental flaws that he had in his game, both guys knew how to exploit. Jimmy Young probably would have gotten beaten, but Jimmy Young, once again, I think would have given him hell, as Jimmy Young always give everybody hell. All right? You got to understand how boxing works, man. And Showbiz the adult, I'm embarrassed, man. You shaming us. You putting us who's supposed to be educating the fans, you're making us look stupid. You talking about Floyd would have never fought this guy? No, he probably wouldn't have fought him. At least wouldn't have fought him. Maybe never in his career. You know why? Because he would have fought Larry Holmes. Floyd would have fought somebody who's number one or number two in his division. He wouldn't be going after guys who just came out the blocks, ain't done shit in boxing, didn't earn their way to the top spot to be picked. He wasn't going to probably do that. Now, after all of this, Showbiz has the audacity to say that Floyd in his 50th fight fought a guy with no pro record in Conor McGregor. So he mad that Floyd fought Conor McGregor for a whole ton of money as his last fight in his career over Ali fighting Leon Spinks, who he don't deserve in any way, shape, or form to be in the ring with Muhammad Ali at that time. He just didn't. But because Muhammad Ali faded a whole lot more than Floyd, Leon Spinks got the better of him. Ali was nowhere near in his prime anymore. Just came off the Ernie Schaefer's fight that took a couple years off his life to face this young kid. And so the young kid benefited off of Muhammad Ali having getting beat up by Ernie Schaefer's. And on top of that, Ali had to be doing the rope-a-dope all the time. Ali wasn't moving around the ring much in the Leon Spinks fight. He wasn't moving around the ring much. Even against Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes beat the shit out of Muhammad Ali. He wasn't moving around the ring much either. He was in the corners, covering up, trying to, and Larry Holmes was just picking him off. All right. So Showbiz the adult has the audacity to turn around after Ali tried to cherry pick and the cherry pick went wrong. Huh. You're going to turn around and say that was better than Floyd facing Conor McGregor for a whole set of money. And remember, you're arguing on behalf of Roy Jones Jr. You are arguing that was better than Floyd facing Conor McGregor for a whole set of money, beating his ass because even though Floyd was 40 years old, Floyd was 5 years older than Muhammad Ali. Muhammad was 35 years old when he faced Leon Spinks. But he had been deteriorated so much that Leon Spinks was able to beat him. Don't get me wrong. The man who was training Leon Spinks is a boss at that. That's what he do. Georgie Benton is a bad motherfucker. Okay? So don't get it twisted. Georgie Benton was behind Pernell Whitaker, training Pernell Whitaker. Okay? So don't get it twisted. I get who it was. But Leon Spinks didn't win because of his defense. He won because of his tenacity. And Georgie Benton knew that Muhammad Ali had lost a whole bunch of steps. He was fading out the game. And he got an opportunity of a lifetime. He formulated a game plan for Leon Spinks to beat Muhammad Ali. And that's the only win of Leon Spinks' entire career. He never beat nobody or no. And he got beaten by everybody else after that. Okay, that was it. Okay? Because he shouldn't have been in the ring with Muhammad Ali. He hadn't developed as a fight. Anybody who knows boxing understands this. You don't want to have a freak win in boxing where you win, but then after that, your ass gets beat for the rest of your career because you wasn't ready to take on that responsibility of being a champion because you've been fast-tracked so fast. You don't have, you know who's like that? The Puerto Rican guy that just got knocked out recently in the super middleweight division. He was knocking everybody out, but he never fully developed. He fought Canelo. This guy ends up fighting Canelo over everybody else. He gets to fight Canelo. He does okay against Canelo. Don't get me wrong. He gets dropped. He does okay against Canelo. But the very next fight this guy gets in, he gets knocked out. Why? He was never ready. He wasn't prepared for that level. You have to gradually work your way up. Larry Holmes was ready for that because Larry Holmes had like 30-something, 40-something fights already before he faced Muhammad Ali. He sparred Muhammad Ali. He was ready for that moment. And Larry Holmes had a very long career. Leon Spinks had a short career. So Showbiz the adult needs to understand these things. You don't know. You trying to put down Floyd for facing Conor McGregor, which make no damn sense whatsoever because Roy Jones Jr. is the man that's making the argument. And Roy Jones Jr. wanted to face Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva only had 3 fights. And don't play like all of these things aren't cherry picks. Anderson Silva does not deserve, he never worked hard to get in a position to face Roy Jones Jr. The only reason that fight would happen is because it's called a cross-promotional, cross-sport combat fight. It's a crossover fight. Crossover fights, which are being made popular through Jake Paul these days. It's called a circus act. It's a sideshow. It just so happens that it actually is recorded as an actual fight, which is not a problem if both parties agree to that. Roy was willing to do that back in the 90s and the 2000s. He wanted to face Anderson Silva. It would have been a real fight. This is Floyd. This is Roy's idea. Floyd just did Roy's idea. So for you to go in on Floyd for facing a fighter who has excelled in another area of combat sports, has way more experience in his field of combat sports than Leon Spinks ever had in boxing, and decide that guy more earned his shot at Floyd. You know, Floyd was retired. The guy was calling him out. He more earns his shot at Floyd because Floyd's out the game. Floyd is not in major competition. He's not in major pro sports anymore. Okay? He's retired. This guy calls him out of retirement, says he's gonna whoop his ass. Floyd's like, okay, Ninja, you chirping like a bird, okay. I'm gonna take that on. The commission decides, okay, we're gonna have it as a normal fight. That's gonna be Floyd's 50th fight. Fine. Because this is what Roy wanted. Roy was going to have an actual fight with Anderson Silva in boxing. It wasn't going to be MMA. And Anderson Silva was a boxer. In terms of boxing, Anderson Silva didn't deserve that shot at Roy. But in terms of the accomplishments Anderson Silva did in MMA, and because people were intrigued to see an MMA fighter fight a boxer and see who would win, because MMA fighter obviously has multiple different skills in martial arts, including boxing, and then the boxers specialize in boxing. That's why people were interested in seeing Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. They didn't know what to make of it, what would turn out. We knew what would turn out, but the average person didn't. Okay, and Floyd stopped Conor McGregor. I still am intrigued to see Roy Jones Jr. versus Anderson Silva. Even though Roy is in no shape to face an Anderson Silva, Anderson Silva is in much better shape than Roy. I would love to still see it. You know? And why? Because these things intrigue the imagination. They do. It's just things that a crossover fight is interesting for the average person because they don't know. These people are top in whatever they do. And every now and then, somebody surprises somebody. You know what I mean? We had Anderson Silva beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Everybody beats Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. But the point is, this is a guy that did not make his career in boxing. It was in MMA. And Anderson has a little game. You know, he got a little game inside of him. I would love to see Roy versus Anderson Silva still to this day. And I think that's something that's doable. If Roy just pursues Anderson Silva's free now. Roy pursue it and let's see it. No exhibition. Let's have it as a pro fight. Roy want to have a fight? Have it with Anderson Silva. Right? I know Roy's trying to get money. He's trying to get paid, so he's going after Floyd, and he's going after Floyd because he knows Floyd is the best. Right? Roy knows this. Roy can say whatever he wants to say out of his mouth. In his heart of hearts, he knows Floyd is there. He's that guy. Okay? That's why he's cheap shotting him. And Showbiz the adult is so stupid, he's going along with Roy, which is stupid. Showbiz the adult should be smarter than that. He preferred to be with the losing team, the people with the big L. Okay? How is it Showbiz cannot understand? Roy is jealous of Floyd's success and the things that Roy wanted to do, Floyd is doing. He's bitter about that. That's why he's vocalizing this stupidness right now. And because Floyd didn't even speak, Floyd didn't even say anything, he answered Roy in the form of watching Roy get knocked the fuck out. Has irritated Roy even more. Right? Because Roy has been sneak dissing Floyd for years. Why? I think it's just because he's jealous. He's angry that Floyd was able to succeed where he did not. And it's no fault of his that he got disqualified with the Montel Griffin fight. Me personally, I thought he did not lose that fight. I thought he beat Montel Griffin. I thought he knocked him out. And I think it was petty of the commission to listen to Montel Griffin pretend like he got knocked out. I thought they did Roy wrong there. I think Roy was still an undefeated fighter in my book because they robbed him. It was a technicality. You know what I mean? So, again, as much as I'm harsh in my criticisms right now of Roy Jones Jr. and Showbiz, who's behaving like a clown and just going along with the dude, you know, you guys need to come correct. And I'm not saying, like I said, I think Terrence Crawford beats Floyd Mayweather. If Floyd Mayweather was to fight Terrence Crawford, I think Terrence Crawford beats him. I'm all about boxing as a sport evolving. It doesn't matter how I feel about Terrence Crawford, even if I have feelings one way or the other. I look at what Terrence Crawford can do, and I think Terrence Crawford would beat Floyd Mayweather. That's just my opinion. Okay? But that doesn't mean because I think that Floyd's not a great fighter. Just like I think Floyd, if Roy and Floyd were the same size, I think Floyd would figure out Roy and he would stop him. That's right. Floyd would stop Roy. Why do I know this? Because Roy has a fatal flaw in his defense. And anytime you hit him in a certain part of his temple on the left side of his face, he goes to sleep. It's just what it is. If he don't protect that thing and he gets caught there, he goes to sleep. I mean, nighty-night. Glenn Johnson hit him there. Danny Green hit him there. Macarelli hit him there. You know, and he just went to sleep. I remember L.I.V.E hit him there, and he went to sleep. He didn't go to sleep with L.I.V.E. He got knocked down, and he was out of it for a minute, and then he got back up. Okay, we know what Roy is susceptible to in fights. We know what he's open for. We know he doesn't have that great a defense if he's too close to you. It's what it is. You know, I'm not trying to hate on him, but these are facts. Okay. You know. So yeah, I think Floyd, again, just thinking of it in a way where I can see somebody. I could see Floyd knocking out Roy. First of all, I don't want to see Floyd knock out Roy. If they were to fight and Floyd was to knock out a 190-pound. First of all, I don't want to see Roy at 190 pounds. Roy, you are a heavyweight now. You gonna weight drain yourself and then get knocked out by Floyd? Is that what you want to do? You really want to do this fight at 190 and get knocked out? That would look bad. That would look awful. Talking about fighting at 190. Roy, you can't make 190 pounds anymore. You a 50-something-year-old man. This man is crazy. He talking all kinds of stupid shit. Roy thinks he's 20-something years old and he can now make 190 pounds. I listened to him talk about how, Antonio Tarver knocked him out and stuff, and he was not the same guy that went up to heavyweight and all of that stuff. Okay, whatever excuse you want to make, but you wasn't itching to face Antonio Tarver all through the time when he was in your prime. Antonio Tarver kept on knocking on your door and you just keep on ignoring his ass. Because we all know Antonio Tarver had the better of you in the amateurs. Okay? And Antonio Tarver had sparred you and all of that. Antonio Tarver knew how to beat you. And clearly, you didn't know how to beat him. You always had a tough time with him. Right? He was your kryptonite. And it is what it is. Now, with respect to Roy talking about, Showbiz the adult taking up what Roy's saying and trying to throw jabs at Floyd. It's just funny to hear this guy talk, man. Yeah, Ali fought Trevor Berbick. He shouldn't have fought him. He should have stopped at Ernie Schaefer's and called it a day and retired from the sport of boxing. But if there's one thing we learn that Ali, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., who else? Sugar Ray Leonard never understood. Even the great Sugar Ray Robinson. These guys never understood and did not. They couldn't get the memo until they got their ass beat out of boxing. Even Oscar De La Hoya. All these guys had to get their ass beat out. Bernard Hopkins had to actually get knocked out of the ring to stop. Roy Jones Jr. still hasn't stopped. He's still trying to fight pro fights, which is fucking crazy. Right? He's been slept 5 times, and he's still trying to fight. Now he's trying to fight smaller guys like Floyd. He want to be a weight bully, but you'll get your ass knocked out by Floyd if you keep that up. Because you're not making no 190 pounds, Roy. Roy, you are not one. You are so fucking out of shape, bro. Come on, man. You're at least 235. You gonna get down to 190? I'll weaken you, bro. I don't want to see you get knocked out by Floyd. Logan Paul, even though it was exhibition, went the distance with Floyd. To see Floyd knock you out, but Go the distance with Logan Paul. I don't even want to think about it. Okay, I don't want to think about it. Okay, I don't want to think about it. It's just I don't want to think about it. That's not. See, this is what these legends do to their legacy. James Toney's another one. Keep on fighting, 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 fighting. Ninja, there's a time and place for everything. If you want to do exhibitions, do exhibitions. There's a time and fucking place for everything. You're gonna have to stop fighting at some point. If you want to fight people who you can beat, because I know you've got skills beyond the average guy out there. And beat up those guys, fine. But don't, please, God damn it, man. These old guys, man. Even Manny Pacquiao be egging on these old folk. No, fight people your age then. Fight people your age. Floyd's too fucking young for you, man. Didn't y'all see what happened to Evander Holyfield when he fought the MMA fighter and he knocked him out? What is wrong with these old people, man? Old folk, at least Sugar Ray Leonard learned his lesson. He ain't going back into the ring. Roberto Duran learned his lesson. Duran ain't trying to get in no ring with nobody. Duran, he learned his, but he got his ass beat out the ring too. Right? You got to learn when to hold, when to fold up. Ladies and gentlemen, follow Andre Ward, what he did. Joel Calzaghe, what he did. At the top of their game, they left. Floyd Mayweather, what he did. Do not be a Manny Pacquiao. Do not be a Roy Jones Jr. Do not be a Bernard Hopkins. Do not be an Oscar De La Hoya where you got to get your ass beat out the ring. Hard-headed. You will not learn. If you want to fight and continue fighting pro fights or whatever and padding up your record by beating bums off the street, I'm okay with that because I know you can handle that situation. But don't go back into professional boxing trying to fight the best. What are you doing that for? Why? You do understand human beings cannot take trauma for extended period of times for the rest of their life. You are shortening your fucking life by doing that, man. Roy, what is wrong with these people? Muhammad Ali he was the way he was because he kept on fucking fighting. Motherfucker needed to stop. He wouldn't stop. He was addicted. Muhammad Ali could have done exhibitions. He could have done whatever. After the Ernie Schaefer's fight, he should have called it a day. You've been in too many wars. You've been in too many battles. Things that Cassius Clay would have never gotten into. Because he was too quick. He was too fast. He was too flashy. You pass your prime. All you got is a rope-a-dope. That ain't good defense. You tough as nails. That's cool. But you overdid it, man. You should have been out the game. After the damage that Ernie Schaefer's gave you, should have said, all right, we done. People would have respected you more, and you would still be alive today. You dead because of the trauma you took in boxing. And Showbiz the adult, you don't even understand the importance of teaching and educating people about being smart in boxing. Instead of praising guys like Floyd and Calzaghe and Ward and Ward, I can't even say Timothy Bradley because Pacquiao had to beat his ass out of boxing for him to stop. These guys who left at the pinnacle of the sport and went their way. Like Michael Jordan did in basketball, or like whatever his name is in football. I forgot what his name is. Leave on top and chill. No. You got a drug. You got to keep fighting for some reason. I could understand Joe Louis keep on fighting because they took all his money. But if you're good financially, why the hell are you going back to boxing the Fox? Yeah, you love the sport, but you can always manifest yourself in the sport in different ways, man. You don't have to go back to the professional ring and keep on competing until somebody beats your ass out the ring. Bad. Punish you. This is the problem. And Showbiz just don't get it. He don't get that. Showbiz don't get that you're not doing any service to the sport of boxing by trying to defend somebody destroying their body by continuing to box. Every boxer should learn defense, proper defense, so that as they age, they can fall back on their defense, proper defense, so they don't have to take unnecessary punishment and they can still have longevity. That's why I said, when you look at LeBron James versus Michael Jordan, Jordan left on top. Nope, no disrespect to him. LeBron James is still in the NBA. He still can perform at a high level, and that's cool. Longevity, but he ain't taking that kind of damage to his body that other NBA guys who got injured got take damage. In a way, that is what you want. You want longevity. You want a long career in boxing. Even after the big fights, you're not damaged to the extent where you can't get other big fights. See, boxing has evolved a lot. So boxers are smarter now than they used to be. And that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So you can make excuses for Muhammad Ali. You could praise the stupid decisions that he made, because he made stupid decisions at the end of his career. In my opinion, it was very stupid to keep on fighting, because it cost you. It cost you. Cost your health. And that's why I praise Joe Calzaghe, Andre Ward, and Floyd Mayweather. Because those three guys did boxing the right way. They got out of the game while they were at the top, while their body was giving them trouble and they knew they couldn't maintain that high level of boxing. They left the sport. They had the discipline to leave the sport. Floyd's still hanging around doing exhibitions and stuff like that. But by and large, Floyd is not trying to get back into the sport. He's out there doing business and business transactions and other things with his life. He's moved on with his life. Boxing's not a sport you can play with, man. You can get badly hurt in boxing. You could be, you got one last fight in the sport of boxing, and that could wreck your whole entire life. You're breathing out a straw. You can't even walk or talk. Ask Wilfredo Benitez. Great boxer. Still has to get support. People have to donate to help him out. Showbiz the adult seems to be an advocate for going the route of Wilfredo Benitez. Hell of a career, but did not know when to stop. Did not know when to stop. So he exacerbated damage, cerebral damage he had already. And he decayed very quickly. And I could talk about great boxer after great boxer after great boxer who didn't know when to stop. Didn't know when to get out of the game. And Roy doesn't know when to stop, and he doesn't know when to get out of the game. So here is a 200-something plus pound heavyweight challenging, this is embarrassing, but it is what it is, challenging a welterweight, a blown-up welterweight. He want to fight Floyd. An old, out of shape, 200-something plus. He just fought Mike Tyson. Now he want to fight Floyd Mayweather. Make that shit make sense. And you know what's the biggest joke? Floyd fights him and knocks his ass out. You know how bad that'll look? I don't want to see that. So-called feather-fisted Floyd ends up knocking out what will be a heavyweight in Roy. You know how bad that'll look? And whether you like it or not, Floyd idolizes Roy. Roy done lost his mind. Great fighter, though. But you done lost your damn mind, Roy. What they should have is a tournament for old folk. A seniors boxing tournament. If the older fighters want to do something, they could do a little exhibition or whatever with another older fighter. So if you still have the urge to want to fight, you could do it through that tournament. You know? Because it seems though boxers, after they're finished with their career, a lot of them still want the competition. You train your whole life. You discipline yourself your whole life. Especially if you're an outstanding boxer. That ego kind of sometimes gets in the way, you know? So maybe a good idea is to have a seniors tournament for older boxers, retired boxers. So if they want to, mix it up a little bit, do their thing, get down, there's a tournament for them. You know? But a lot of great fighters don't know when to quit. Until they get beat up by somebody younger. They don't know when to quit. And it's very bad. It's very dangerous. You know? Don't get me wrong. I love seeing older guys show they still have it in some way or shape or form. You know? I like watching Julio Cesar Chavez fight. I like to see Sugar Ray Leonard throw hands. Throw those real fast combinations. So, I like to see them in action. As an old legend, but I don't want to see them get hurt and damaged, you know? That's my major concern. When your name is enshrined in history, and you're one of the great ones, there's no need to prove to us that you're great anymore. That's been established. Your career speaks for itself. And it's there for everyone to see. And for you to have to make up shit to try to tear down another great, I find that sad. Especially if you've been in the boxing career, you know how difficult boxing is to stay on top. And that you share certain common attributes with every great fighter in every great era. Why take the time to try to tear down another fighter? Now, if you're showing that you're better than other fighters and you're making a case for you the best ever or whatever it is you think you are, like James Toney, he makes the case that he's the best defensive fighter of all time. And why not? And he'll make his arguments for that. And why not? Why not? You know what I'm saying? You know who else used to say they're the best defensive fighter of all time? Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker used to say, I'm the best at this. And there's only one Pernell Whitaker. You say, I love Floyd to death, but there's only one Pernell Whitaker. And it's really true. There's only one Pernell Whitaker. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have no disrespect for Pernell Whitaker. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to make your case that you're the best. You didn't go into boxing not to be the best. And to claim somebody else is better than you. So why not? Terrence Crawford could always make a claim that he's the best fighter ever. Why? If he beats Canelo, ain't no other fighter in the modern era, four-belt era, that been undisputed 3 times in 3 different divisions. See what I'm saying? Against the kind of competition he faced. Pound for pound fighters. Right? So he'd have a case right there. So if you want to say I'm the best ever, his accomplishments will show that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody making a claim that they're the best ever, you got to show now. You got to back up what you say, right? if I say I'm the best, well, I gotta show everybody why I'm the best. You can't say I'm the best and then you don't show people why you're the best. You gotta clarify why you say you're the best. I'm finished talking with you guys about a while ago, but I thought I'd drag it on a little longer because I'm doing other things. Thanks for tuning into